Bitcoin SV price similar to 486.12 rands per coin. The current price range 469.28 496.35. The previous day, close 488.94. The change was 2.820.58%. Opposite rate ZAR to BSV. Bitcoin SV price forecast for the near future and month. Bitcoin SV is expected to cost 415 rands on Monday, July 10th. With a high of 444 rands and a low of 386 rands. On Tuesday, July 11th, Bitcoin SV was estimated to cost 408 rands, with a high of 437 rands and a low of 379 rands. Bitcoin SV is expected to cost 408 rands on Wednesday, July 12th, with a high of 437 rands and a low of 379 rands. On Thursday, July 13th, Bitcoin SV was estimated to cost 390 rands, with a high of 417 rands and a low of 363. Bitcoin SV is expected to cost 397 rands on Friday, June 30th, with a high of 425 rands and a low of 369 rands for the week. On Monday, July 3rd, Bitcoin SV was estimated to cost 365 rands, with a high of 391 rands and a low of 339 rands. Bitcoin SV is expected to cost 364 rands on Tuesday, July 4th. On Wednesday, July 5th, Bitcoin SV was estimated to cost 364 rands, with a high of 389 rands and a low of 339 rands. Bitcoin SV is expected to cost 372 rands on Thursday, July 6 ND, with a high of 398 rands and a low of 346 rands. Bitcoin SV is expected to cost 367 rands on Friday, July 7 RD, with a high of 393 rands and a low of 341 rands in about 14 days. Bitcoin SV is expected to cost 351 rands on Monday, July 10th, with a high of 376 rands and a low of 326 rands. Bitcoin SV is estimated to cost 353 rands on Tuesday, July 11th. Bitcoin SV is expected to cost 369 rands on Wednesday, July 12th, with a high of 395 rands and a low of 343. Bitcoin SV is expected to cost 374 rands on Thursday, July 13th. Bitcoin SV is expected to cost 376 rands on Friday, July 14th, with a high of 402 rands and a low of 350 rands in 3 weeks. On Monday, July 17th, Bitcoin SV was estimated to cost 379 rands, with a high of 406 rands and a low of 352. Bitcoin SV is expected to cost 380 rands on Tuesday, July 4th, with a high of 407 rands and a low of 353. On Wednesday, July 5th, the price of Bitcoin SV was 362 rands, with a high of 387 rands and a low of 337 rands. Bitcoin SV is expected to cost 355 rands on Thursday, July 6th, with a high of 380 rands and a low of 330 rands. Bitcoin SV speculation cost 358 rands on Friday, July 7th, high 383, low 333 in about a month. Bitcoin SV is expected to cost 346 rands on Monday, July 10th, with a high of 370 rands and a low of 322. Bitcoin SV speculation cost 377 rands on Tuesday, July 11th, high 403, low 351. Bitcoin SV price forecast for 2023, 2024, 2025, 2026, and 2027. Bitcoin SV price forecast for July 4/23. Before everything else costs 647 rands, exorbitant costs 724, and low cost 326. He arrived at the cost 518 midway. Bitcoin SV prices are expected to rise in the coming months. With a 376% increase in June, 41.9% Bitcoin SV forecast for July 2023, with an initial cost of 376 rands, a high cost of 411 rands, and a low cost of 294. It ended up costing $349 in the middle. Bitcoin SV prices are expected to rise in the next months, with a 360 shift scheduled for July. 16% Bitcoin SV cost forecast for August 2023 at the outset cost of 316 rands, excessive cost 357, and low cost 311. They arrived at a cost of 330 as the midpoint. Bitcoin SV prices are speculative in the months ahead. With a 334 change for August, 5.7% Bitcoin SV forecast for September 2023, with an initial cost of 334 rands, a high cost of 340, and a low cost of 296. They arrived at the price of 322. Bitcoin SV price forecast for the months and 318. Change for September 4. Bitcoin SV is expected to cost 8% more in October 2023. At the accounts, the cost is 318 rands, whereas the cost is 251. He arrived at the cost middle point of $289. Bitcoin SV price in the months and 270 change for October. 15.1% Bitcoin SV number for November 2023 began at 270 rands, increased to 293 rands, and decreased to 255 rands. He arrived to the cost middle point of 273. Bitcoin SV price change over the months and 274 change on November 1. 0.5% Bitcoin SV price forecast for December 2023 starts at 274 rands, goes up to 312 rands, then goes down to 272. They arrived at a cost of 288 as the midpoint. Bitcoin SV cost number in the months and 292 change for December. 6.6% Bitcoin SV cost figure in January 2024 initially cost a 292 rands, excessive cost 300 while low cost 260. He arrived to the cost middle point of 283. Bitcoin SV cost figure for the months and 280 change for January. 4.1% Bitcoin SV cost projection for February 2024 initially cost a 280 rands, extravagant cost 280 while low cost 290. The discovered the middle value of cost 254. Bitcoin SV price gauge for the months and 235 change for February. 16.1% Bitcoin SV price gauge for WAC 2024.